Hello everyone, in this session we'll understand list activities in UiPath, but before going to UiPath Studio, let's understand list concepts. Okay, so lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. That means if you have different variables like v1 variable which is holding a value called name like Badri, then v2 variable which is holding another name called John, v3 variable which is holding the name called Penny from Big Bang Theory, V4 is holding a name called Ram. Now you want to store all these values into a single variable instead of storing these values into different variables. You want to store it into a single variable. Then you can use list. So I'll create a text type of list, or I can say string type of list, which I'll say name list, and I'll assign all my values like Badri, John, Penny, and Ram to this list. Now I have stored all my values, or I can say I have stored multiple items in a single variable. Here, a point should be noted that list will always store same type of data. That means before assigning values to the list, you need to say that what kind of list it is. As I said, the list is text and string. I can create another list which will hold number, but before that I need to make sure that I am assigning all the values as number. So I'll say number, or I can say this is my integer type list, and I'll say marks list. You can give any name. It doesn't matter whether it is containing list text in it or not. You can create any kind of name. So I'm saying mark list. It will have 78 marks, 59 marks. Somebody's fail over there, which is 19 marks, 02 marks also, which I got in my maths, and another one 99, which will be always a dream. So this is a mark list which holds all the numbers. You can create another list which can contain any kind of true or false, or you can create any other list which can hold decimal values. So list, you can create any kind of list, either it is text, either it is number, either it is decimal, either any primitive variable it should be. Now, how to identify the values of the list, or how to fetch values from the list. If I want to fetch just John from the list, then how to do it? Here comes the concept of index. So list is indexed and changeable. That means all the values in list have their unique position number. That means it has all the values have their list or index number over there. So index always start from 0. So every list will start from 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. Similarly over here also the position of 78 is at 0 index. The position of 59 is as 1 index. It has 2 index, 3 index, 4 index, and if there are multiple values then it will go 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. So index is nothing but which identify the position of item in any it's basically the sequential number starting from 0 which identify the number of any item in a collection. Okay, so that's called index. Now if I want to fetch first value, or if I want to fetch the name which is Penny from name list, then I will write it like name list. And what is the index of Penny? is 2. So this will give me output of penny. Now if I write marks list and I say over here, instead of this I will say 3. So this will give me 0, 2, as in mark list the element at third index, not position, position will be 4th, but third index is 0, 2. So it will give me 0, 2. So this is called indexing, or how to fetch the item from a list. Now, as I said, list is a changeable. That means you can change the values of list. As I said, name list 02 is penny, but if I assign the value to this index as RST, then now if I print my name list, it will be changed, and this will be Badri, John. 0 index is not changed, first index is not changed, and if I see second index is penny and second index the value will be RST, and the third index will be the same because I haven't touched it, so it will be Ram. So this is how my list is changeable also. That means you can change the list. So now let's go to UiPath and start understanding list activities in UiPath. So first, in activities panel, type list. So first concept over here is to create the list. So I'll just drag this activity over here. So I'll create the list. Now data category, that means what kind of data your list will be holding. So my list will be holding text. Suppose I'm creating a list of names. Similarly, I'm creating this name list over there. So new list. Now in output you have created, suppose you have created a list which is holding the text values. Now in output new list, I'll say control K. Either I'm creating a variable which will hold this list, and I'm saying name list. You can write control K over here, or you can go to your variable panel. Now let me delete this older list. You can go to your variable panel and create a list, generic ilist, iterable list to the system.string type. You can create this one. So now I have created a list over here. So second task is to populate the values into this list. I have append the item to list activity over here, which will add values to the list. I'll put it over there, and you need to give the list type. So my list type is name list. So my list name is name list, and item to append, that means the value to append. So I am giving it the first value called Badri. I'm appending the value to Badri. Now it is giving me an error. It is giving me an error because my type argument over here, if you see the error, so my type argument over here is object. What I need to make it is, it should be string. That means it should be a text. So I'll make it text, and it is resolved. So type argument denote what kind of values that collection is holding. So my collection is holding text. In the technical language, instead of text we call it string. So it is holding string. So I have changed it to string. Now this value will be added to my list. Now third one is how to read a list item, or how to read the values. As I said, you can read any value from the list with the help of index. right? I gave name list 2 and then I got Penny. I gave name list 1, I'll get John, because at first index I have John. If you want to add more values, you can again take append item, name, and you can give the value called John. And if you want to change the value, you can just go over here and make it string, and it's done. Now I want to read the value from the list. So I want to read the value list item. So I can take the activity, read activity. The first thing it asks is, it asks for the, what is your list name? So my list name is name list. Okay. Now another one is, at which index value you want. So I can give, as I have two values, that means 0 index, 1 index, the values will be at 0 index, this value will be at 1 index. So I'll say I want the values at first index. So I give the first index value. And now let's go to property panel and see type argument, obvious. Again, you have to change the type argument to string, make it string. Now I don't have any error, but it will give me output. I need to save that output into variable to see that what it is returning. So I'll again, with the help of Control K, I'll create a variable, or you can go over here. You can go over here and create a variable called output var, and it will be a string type because the read list item will return a single value from the list, and single values in the list is of type string over here. So I have created already output var. I'll save this, or I can say I will assign this variable over here, so that it will, whenever it will give me a variable, or whenever it will give me a value, it will go over here in this variable. So now if I want to see this variable, what is the value of this variable, I can make a log message. You can see with the help of log message, and let's make it as a information, and I'll say output var. Now I can run this method. Now I can run this process. So in output panel, yeah, it gave me John. Now if you want to, as I said, list is a changeable collection. That means you can change the value of a list. It's not like tuple in Python, you can't change, but list you can change. So if I want to change the value in a list, what I will do is, again, I'll go to my activity panel. I will just write list, and I can see update a list item. If you want to update the list item, again, you have to give the name of your list. My name of my list is name list. New value, what new value you want to give? Instead of John at the first index, instead of John, I want to put Mr. Singh. At what index I want? I want to make the changes at first index. Again, I'm getting at this error. So change from object to string. Now if you want to see the output, or whether it got changed at first position or not, I'll take read list item, scroll down from this list, from name list, I want to read the first value, first index value, whether it got changed or not. I'll create a variable called changed output. I'll give it over here, not call, changed output over here, and type argument, I need to change it to the string. Now it's all good. Again, if I want to show this over here, I'll show it like this. and again information, and I'll make it new value and a little bit of string concatenation over here, change value output. Okay, let's run this one and see whether it is giving me the desired output or not. Okay, now older value was John and new value is Mr. Singh over here. It's good. Now if you want to delete the list, or clear the list, and you will see in list activities you don't have any activity like clearing a list or something like that, then you have another bunch of activities which is called collection. You want to clear the collection, remove any value from the collection or anything. So I have, if you want to clear this list or make this list empty, you have a variable called clear collection. You can drag it over here and you just need to give your collection, because your list is also a collection. So you can give your list name over here, and what kind of list you have, it's a string list, and this will clear the value of list. So if you want to check how, if you want to check whether your list is empty or not, you can simply so if you want to check whether your list got cleared or not, you can simply check the length of that list. If the length of that list is 0, that means your list is empty, because length shows that how many elements you have in that collection. So put a log message, go through this one info, and I'll say my list name is name list dot, I can say length. Sorry, I can say count. It will give me the length of my list. And this is 0. That means my collection got completely cleared. I hope this is not a very big video for you guys, so please continue with your automation, and if you like my content, then share it with your friend and let them know what you have learned anew in this session. Thank you for joining. See you in the next session. Bye bye.